Hello everyone. I'll be doing another video on how to install the latest version of Appium 1.15.1. Um, I did create a installation video for 1.15, but I did notice when they release 1.15.1 the instructions are going to be slightly different. The path for the WebDriver agent does change slightly, so I'll just create a whole nother video. As always, I'm starting with a freshly restored Mac using the Command R on a restart. I do recommend, if you have any issues upgrading from the previous version of Appium, if you're not very technically inclined, I do recommend just nuking your Mac, loading the base image of Mac OS using Command R on a restart, and following my instructions here to get Appium up and running. So I'll be using a MacBook Pro. As always, I'll be using an iPad as well for this demonstration, and we'll go ahead and get started here. So, all right. So the first step would be to open the App Store and install Xcode. This process does take the longest amount of time depending on your internet connection. Xcode does take quite some time to install, so I've already pre-installed Xcode just to save on time for this demonstration. So we'll go ahead and start from step 2. So let's launch Xcode. All right, and once we do that, we want to add our Apple developer account. So we'll go into accounts. Let's go ahead and add that. Okay, looks good. Once we do that, we'll start on step 4 to connect the iPad device. So what we'll do is we'll launch Xcode first. Recommend going into Windows, Device and Simulators. I don't have any devices connected at this moment, but I'll go ahead and connect one now. All right, once you connect an iPad and you have the you have your developer account loaded in Xcode, Xcode will begin to install the developer options on your iPad. So that's what it's doing here. Shouldn't take too long. We'll just wait for it to complete, and then we'll go on to our next steps. All right, looks like it's complete here, and this iPad is running the latest version of iOS 13.1.3. So once Xcode finishes installing the developer options, you should be able to go into your Settings app on your iOS device, scroll all the way down to Developer, and then once you do that, you want to enable the UI automation option within that setting. So I can't demonstrate that here, but I went ahead and did that while I was explaining what to do here. So close that out. All right, now we'll start on step 6. Want to open a terminal session. And run the Java version command. In this case, I didn't have Java pre-installed. Java doesn't come installed, so we'll go ahead and install it. The easiest way is to run the Java -version command. Click this more info. It'll take you directly to the Oracle webpage where you can download the latest JDK. Looks like it's complete. Go ahead and install the JDK. If you ever get this error, cannot be opened due to potential malicious software, you want to go ahead and right click on it or double click on it. Sorry, two finger click on it, which is equivalent to a right click, and then hit the open option. And then you'll have an option to open the app. Alright, once the install is successful, then you should be able to go back to your terminal session, rerun that same command, and get a Java version number response. So that was step 7 there. So we'll start on step 8. Step 8 is probably one of the longest steps outside of installing Xcode. So all we're gonna do is run each of these commands back to back. You may be prompted to enter your password a couple times while running these commands. done here. All right. We're on the last command. So it's installing the Appium Doctor. We'll go ahead and start step 9 a little earlier. So you need to go to appium.io and download the latest version of Appium, which in this case is 1.15.1. We'll download the .tmg. Looks like it completed. Once the download is complete, we're going to go ahead and install the DMG. Alright, looks good. Go ahead and launch Appium. It looks like got that error again. So what we want to do is go into the actual applications folder, two-finger click or right click, and open it that way. All right, looks like it launched. So you see here we're on version 1.15.1. Once you get this screen, go ahead and close it, and we'll follow the rest of these steps. So that'll be step 11 or 12. Now we're going to relaunch Xcode. What you want to do once Xcode launches, when I go to File, Open, the easiest way to get to the folder is to hit the Command-Shift-G to go to a path. We'll copy this path here. Alright, open the WebDriver agent. Click on the WebDriver agent. We can expand this column here. So we only are concerned about the WebDriver agent library and the runner. For this demonstration, I'm not going to enable the WebDriver agent on any tvOS devices. Obviously, if you're running Appium against a tvOS device, you want to repeat the following steps I'm about to perform on the WebDriver agent on those two as well. So we'll start here, hit go to signing and capabilities. It's already enabled the automatically managed signing option. We just want to select our developer account from the team dropdown. If there's already a certificate, you may or may not encounter this error. If there's already a certificate on the device, you want to make sure you revoke that certificate. You shouldn't have any errors once you select your team. We're going to do the same thing on the WebDriver runner. Automatically manage signing. Select your team. Shouldn't have any errors down here. These two we want to disable. So there we go. All right, looks good. So we'll go ahead and close out of Xcode. All right, and what I just performed was step 15 through 26 or 27. So now we're on 28. Want to go back to our terminal session and run a few more commands here. All right. So once we run the Bootstrap script, we're pretty much complete. We're going to go ahead and run the Appium Doctor. And we're going to look for a couple of things here. So if you notice, there's going to be a few sections. There's the diagnostics for necessary dependencies. The key here is to make sure all those necessary dependencies are green. So if you look here, we completed, no fix needed. That's exactly what we're looking for. If for some reason there is an issue on any of these on any of the necessary dependencies, you will have to resolve those individually before you can continue on with this documentation. Obviously, if you're following this video step by step and you're starting from a freshly restored Mac with nothing on it, then you should be coming across the same messages that I see here. You shouldn't have any issues. But if you're using a restricted Mac, something, or a user account that's non-admin, you might have issues when you run the Appium Doctor against your machine. So any of the optional dependencies we're not going to care about at this moment in time. They're not necessary, so should be able to launch Appium on your iOS device without any of these installed or working at the moment. So all right, so we're all set here. We'll go ahead and exit our terminal session and launch Appium one more time. Go ahead and start our server. And we're going to start a Appium inspector session. All right, so we'll go ahead and populate our desired capabilities. this case UDID. For this device, I can no longer get it from iTunes, so the easiest way is to launch Xcode again, go into our device and simulators, grab the identifier or UDID, paste that there. The bundle ID of the app that you want to use. In this case, we're going to be launching the Safari app, just the built-in Apple Safari app. Let's just add a few of these. Bundle ID, automation name. For the platform version, you don't have to put the full version. Typically 13.1 or 12.4, whatever version you're working on should be sufficient. You don't have to go all the way down to 13.1.2 or 13.1.3. The device name can be anything you want. In this case, we'll set it as Appium demo. All right, I'll go ahead and save these settings. And go ahead and start our inspector. The first time you start the inspector is always going to be the longest, and it may prompt you to enter your password quite a few times. We'll see if it does it here. Looks like we did get some password prompts. I always want to hit the always allow. You will see some errors. That's fine. Doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It should retry. So let's take a look here. Alright, so it looks like we're good. If you notice here, my Appium inspector did launch the Safari app. If you notice on the logs, what you're looking for is a response 200 and a session ID. Once you have that, your inspector should launch successfully. In this case, as long as you see the same screen on your iPad as you do here, then you shouldn't have any issues. So we'll test the refresh as well. I'll just navigate to Google. And as you can see, I can refresh without any issues. So at this point in time, this means that the Appium was installed successfully. It's integrating with your iPad just fine. So pretty much complete for this demonstration. Yes, with this build of Appium, for some reason I do notice a lot more errors in the logs, but I haven't experienced any issues using Eclipse, integrated with TestNG, doing automation on iOS via Appium. So you may see more errors, but I don't think it'll affect you in the long run. Might be something that Appium might fix in a later release. And as always, I try to keep these videos updated for every release of Appium or Xcode or iOS. So if you're watching this video and you found this demonstration to be helpful, please do subscribe, like these videos. It helps me out. As I said, I'm always trying to release complete videos for every version of Appium that I see. So